Imagine this. You're sipping coffee on a Saturday morning while your spare dollars are off remodeling an apartment building, paying down a nurse's credit card debt, and maybe even helping a stranger throw the wedding of their dreams. Sounds wild, right? But that's exactly what peer-to-peer lending and crowdfunding let you do. Here's the big idea. Instead of parking every penny in one sleepy savings account, you pour little splashes of money into many tiny cups, each cup tied to a different person or project. One cup might consolidate debt, another funds a rental rehab, a third backs a startup you believe in. You're not just spectating, you're practically backstage, watching capital move in real time. Think of it like running your own mini farmer's market. You stroll the stalls, decide who gets your dollars, and pick the harvest you want back. Steady interest, future price gains, or a blend of both. So, what's on tap today? First, we'll break down the two big families, peer-to-peer loans and real estate crowdfunding. Then we'll peek behind the curtain to see how the platforms work. Finally, we'll weigh the trade-offs, control, complexity, and the promise of higher returns. Sound good? Let's jump in. Section 1. The two families. Family number 1 is peer-to-peer, or P2P, lending. Picture a borrower who needs 10 grand. The platform chops that single loan into dozens, sometimes hundreds, of bite-sized notes that investors like you can buy. It's like a band pressing 1,000 vinyl records instead of begging one label for cash. Each record buyer fronts a sliver of the cost and earns a share of the ticket sales later. If the borrower pays on time, you collect interest month after month. If they ghost on the loan, the music stops for everyone holding a slice. Simple, but not risk-free. Family number 2 is real estate crowdfunding. Here we skip individuals and head straight for properties. A developer posts a project, say renovating a tired apartment complex. Investors pool money into an LLC or fund, and that legal container buys a stake in the deal. Think of it as joining a renovation club. Your dues pay for the paint, contractors, and holding costs. In return, you might get quarterly rent checks, plus a bonus if the building sells for more than it costs to fix up. Section 2. How the platforms really work. Now you might wonder, who's running the show? Platforms act more like dating apps than banks. They intro you to borrowers and projects, set a few ground rules, and then step aside. Behind the scenes, they run credit algorithms, background checks, appraisals, and legal filings. They collect origination fees, servicing fees, or a slice of project profits. In other words, you're paying for infrastructure, the rails that guide your $25 or $2,500 into dozens of different stories. Your control lives on a spectrum. On one end, you hand-pick each loan or building like curating your own playlist. On the other, you let the platform auto-allocate based on risk or strategy, more like hitting shuffle. The more you curate, the more homework you accept, reading borrower bios, scanning project docs, and weighing timelines. Let that sink in for a second. More control equals more work. Less work often equals less control. Simple trade-off, but easy to forget. Section 3. Why it matters. So why bother? For starters, these tools open doors once reserved for big checks and velvet rope gatekeepers. They also nudge us to treat money as a toolkit rather than a locked treasure chest. You can send small squads of dollars on different missions. 3-year loans, 6-month bridge deals, long-term property rehabs, and see which quests come back with loot. Think of your portfolio as a travel itinerary. Instead of one giant all-inclusive resort, hello single mutual fund, you book multiple stops, some business class safety, a dash of adventure travel, maybe a quirky food tour. Over time, reviewing where your dollars went, who they helped, what failed, what soared, becomes part map-making, part autobiography of your risk choices. Section 4. Risks, rewards, and reality checks. Quick reality check. Unlike a savings account, there's no bank in the middle soaking up most of the risk. You and thousands of other investors are effectively building the road as you drive on it. Missed payments, project delays, even fraud, those land in your lap faster than you might expect. That's why diversification, spreading small amounts across many loans or deals, isn't just smart, it's survival. Take a moment. Picture 10, 20, maybe 50 tiny bets working quietly in the background. One defaults, annoying but not fatal. Another pays back early, nice surprise. A couple grind out steady interest. Diversification turns potential heartbreak into a learning moment instead of a portfolio killer. Section 5. Putting it into action. Alright, how do you dip a toe without cannonballing into unknown waters? Here's a simple 3-step starter kit. 1. Open one reputable P2P or real estate platform, even if only to snoop around. 2. Set a micro-budget, say $50 to $100, to test the waters across at least 5 different loans or deals. 3. Track results for 3 months. Note what feels exciting, what feels stressful, and how often you actually check the dashboard. Do that, and you'll learn more than any article can teach you. The grand recap. So here's what we covered today. First, P2P lending slices individual loans into tiny notes you can buy, earning interest if borrowers pay on time. Second, real estate crowdfunding pools investors into larger property projects, offering rent checks and possible upside when the property sells. Third, platforms are matchmakers, not banks. They run the plumbing but don't absorb your risk. Fourth, control and homework travel together. The more you hand-pick, the more research you sign up for. And finally, diversification isn't just a buzzword, it's your seatbelt when deals go bad. Your next move? Take one small action this week. Maybe it's jotting down today's key points, or exploring a platform, or funding that first $25 loan. Tiny steps turn curiosity into experience, and experience turns into confidence. You got this. Your money can multitask while you sleep. It just needs you to give the first command.